Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. So it ended Manchester United won FC Astana 0 yesterday evening in the Europa League. So it's a good way, to a good start, to the Europa League for Manchester United. Obviously we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had made alterations, obviously reflecting on the amount of injuries we've had. Obviously we do know that confirmed prior to the game that Daniel James was out. Obviously he's the recent absentee. He was obviously the recent absentee over a knock injury that he had sustained in the 1-0 victory over Leicester. We know there was no Paul Pogba, he's got an ankle injury, there was no Luke Shaw, and there was no Anthony Martial. Obviously that did get confirmed before the game. So in the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went with a 4-3-3 formation. He went with Sergio Romero in goal. Actually, Solskjaer did assure that Romero would have been playing, before the start of the game. Obviously Diego Dalot was at right back. Obviously it confirmed, he'd returned back to training. There was talk saying that, he could have been involved in this game, but he did start at right back. That's his first appearance this season. Obviously it was Tuanzebe and Phil Jones as a centre back partnership. Obviously Phil Jones, making his first appearance for the club this season. Obviously, Rojo started at left back. Rojo as well making his first appearance this season. The midfield three. Was Matic, Fred, and the midfield three was Matic, Fred, and Angel Gomez, and the front three was Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Chong. So that is the team that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did go with again. The performance wasn't up to scratch. I did watch some of the highlights on YouTube. I do believe Manchester United had around 20 shots in total. We also had the majority with the possession. I think we had 70% with the possession, and I think we created around 13 chances. FC Astana had, I don't think they created many chances, but the goal came from Mason Greenwood in the second half. It was in the 73rd minute. It was a good goal, to be quite honest with you. Mason Greenwood, it was a lovely skill from the player, from Mason Greenwood, and he hit into the back end there, and that was 1-0. But like I said, we don't seem to be scoring enough goals. Again, we've only managed to score one goal in the game. Like I did say, we've won 3 games now this season in all competitions. 6 games played for Man United in all competitions. That we are aware that obviously AZ Alkmaar and Partizan Belgrade, the Serbian team, are obviously going to be much more tougher test than FC Astana. But with a win, we have topped the group, which is very very good news. In the second half, we saw some substitutions come on. Obviously, I think Juan Mata, came on for Chong in the second half. I think Juan Mata came on for Chong in the second half. Ashley Young had come on for Rojo, and I think another substitution came on as well. And I think, Juan Mata came on for Gomez, I think it was, sorry, and Jesse Lingard, came on for Chong. I think that was right. But it was one of them either way. But there were the 3 substitutions, that did come on in the second half. Can't give you a full match analysis, because I didn't watch all the game, to be quite honest with you. But it's good, that Man United, got the victory, and again, kept another clean sheet. But obviously it was understandable, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer rested Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, with Diego Dalot returning back to injury, and obviously rested Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, and all that. For the game on Sunday, basically, because we do know that's a big game on Sunday against West Ham. But we do know that games are coming up thick and fast. Like I said, West Ham this Sunday. Obviously, Rochdale next week in the Carabao Cup. Then Arsenal at Old Trafford on the 30th at the end of this month. But like I did say, I'll credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in the aspect, that he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. Like he did assure he would have been, going with the youth. And I think Rochdale is also, in that particular game, Solskjaer, can obviously, go more with the youth. I think there was quite a few players that performed well yesterday. What I saw, I thought Mason Greenwood, was man of the match. I don't think Fred did too bad. I think Fred, I think he the crossbar in the first half. So I thought Fred, was actually, quite good yesterday. I don't think Chon did bad. So overall, it wasn't a fantastic performance, but we got the result, and obviously, we Solskjaer obviously feel weak inside out, but it wasn't a great performance against Leicester, but we still managed to get the victory. Like I did say, we haven't enjoyed a great start to this season, but it's good that we've won now 2 games on the trot, and hopefully we can make it 3 wins out of 3 in our competitions on Sunday against West Ham. And like I did say, hopefully this season, we're not going to enjoy a worse season than last season, because, last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th, and obviously, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And obviously, in that aspect, I did say, that went against us in the summer transfer window, because I did say, a lot of players, would have had reservations about joining the football club, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. But we are aware, that furthermore investment is definitely, needed in the squad. Obviously, Solskjaer, has been assured, that he will be back in January and perhaps next summer, because for me, it wasn't backed enough, throughout the course of the summer. It's good that, he did, recommend 3 good players to the squad. We spent over £140 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire, and we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far, and it's good in the aspect, that we have addressed some of the problematic areas, but, we've got January and next summer, to address the other problematic areas in the squad, because I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window, but definitely, further more investment is needed, and I'm still pretty confident, we could still, manage to get that top 4 this season, so we can, get back into the Champions League, despite the fact, we haven't really scored enough goals. We've only managed 9 goals in all competitions so far in 6 games, which is pretty disappointing. And, it's not that we seem to be playing really, really bad. It's just that, we're not being clinical enough in front of goal. Again, created a lot of chances yesterday against FC Astana, but only managed to score 1 goal. And we had 20 odd shots in that, and, we're just not being clinical enough, and we don't seem to have that clinical element. And last season was the same. We only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season, because it was proven that we wasn't clinical enough in front of a goal last season. So far this season, it's mainly replicating that. I haven't really seen much improvements in Man United this season. There may be slight, improvements in that, but I haven't seen, a lot of improvements, to be quite honest with you. But like this, still a long way to go in the season, and like Solskjaer did say in regards to Mason Greenwood, that he's going to be assured more first team opportunities this season. Mason Greenwood made his first start from the start, yes, and I thought he did really, really well. And I think he can succeed as a Manchester United player, I really, really do. Obviously, Solskjaer said the other week anyway, he was recently, even though Rashford played, he was recently, infuriated, with Rashford's recent performance. So he did say he was considering giving Mason Greenwood, more of a prominent role at the football club. Greenwood's only 17 years of age. He has still got a lot of development in him, and he did really, really well throughout pre-season. He also did really, really well for the reserves last season, scored 30 goals in 29 games, for the under-18s, the under-19s, and the under-21s. It was good to see Chon as well, it was his first game, starting from the start. Chong, obviously Solskjaer did say, like he did say in regards to Mason Greenwood, that, Chon, would be assured first team opportunities this season. Don't forget, he confirmed the other week that Chong was in negotiations with the football club over a new contract. Chong is obviously only 19 years of age. Obviously this summer, received loan offers from PSV and Feyenoord. Feyenoord's obviously his former club. Chong now is into his fourth season at Manchester United. Overall. But yeah, he'll be definitely getting more first team opportunities. Obviously, in regards to Alex Tuanzebe, I don't think he did too bad yesterday. I think that's his first start from the start this season as well, Alex Tuanzebe. And despite the fact that Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are our first choice centre backs, Alex Tuanzebe is going to be a big part of the squad this season, which is very, very good. And Alex Tuanzebe has got that experience now. Don't forget, he was on loan with Aston Villa last season, so in that aspect he has gained that experience as Tuanzebe. Good to see Angel Gomez, play yesterday. Obviously, I think that's his first start this season, or is it the first game he's played this season, if I'm right? He did initially say, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Don't forget, Angel Gomez is another one of our midfield options, and, we have still got quite a few... We have still got quite a few midfielders in the team, despite the fact, that Ander Herrera and Marian Fellaini left the football club. You have still got quite a few midfielders in the team, and Angel Gomez, didn't perform, too bad yesterday. Surprised actually, Matic had played yesterday, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so we have got quite a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve. And I did say, analysing our squad, I think it's definitely, good enough for a top 4 finish. And I think also it is actually, good enough, to win the Europa League, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But I did say at the start of this season, our expectations, will be to finish in that top 4. And I did initially say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations, if he's to remain at Manchester United. And like I did initially say, our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, will be that top 4. I did say, with the dimension, the history of this football club, I'm reflecting on the amount of money that's been spent at the football club in the last 6 or 7 years. Obviously, we're doing all that. We should be in much more of a commanding position than we're in now, and we should be up there competing in that. But obviously, we haven't managed to do that in the last 6 or 7 or 8 years. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United, becomes successful, because like I do keep saying, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, despite the fact that 3 managers have already been sacked since the Alex Ferguson and Moreira. Obviously, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager, since the Alex Ferguson and Moreira. And like I did say, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. We're not really known for a sacking club. And I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He's a club legend. He was a great player, for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. But for me, he is still in the process of rebuilding and that, because analysing it, the majority of his squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So for me, he does need more time, to make further more investment in that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's confirmed, he's set to continue the policy. He's set to continue the policy, of signing them, young British players. So reportedly, we've targeted up to 5 British players next summer. Maybe we could go in for some players in January. I do believe, some of the players, we was in for throughout the course of the summer. We'll probably, look to reignite our interest in them in January. We'll probably leave, some until next summer. But definitely in January or next summer, we have got to recommend a midfielder in, because that midfield area, is one of the priority areas, where Manchester United, do need to strengthen up. Because I've got a lot of element of concerns about that midfield. Obviously, don't forget, throughout the course of the summer as well, was in search for right winner. But like I did say, the blame stems from the board, basically, where I wasn't compressing enough in the window, and maybe not all of it, but quite a lot of it does. Obviously, they didn't get all the players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted, and didn't recommend, any sufficient midfielders or any attackers in and that. But I think the board did a short at the start of this season. This was after pre-season. It was the start of the Premier League season that, Solskjaer, will be at Manchester United at least for this season, regardless of what happens, because obviously the board realised that they didn't back, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough and that. But yeah, they didn't back, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, as it did initially presume and that. And yeah, I'm surprised, that McTominay, didn't play yesterday. He was actually, rested. I'm surprised, he was rested. I think McTominay, though, could be in line, to be involved on Sunday against West Ham. McTominay has been fantastic so far this season for Manchester United. If in regards, like I do keep saying, of him being the long-term solution for Man United, I have, got element of concerns about that. But I think so far this season he's been fantastic, Scott McTominay. Don't forget, so mainly this season he has been playing alongside Paul Pogba in that midfield. He has played between the lines well. His defensive contribution has been very, very good. But he's been absolutely fantastic so far this season. So I'm surprised he didn't play. Obviously, Andrews Pereira, didn't play in the game. Obviously, he played in the last 2 games prior to the Fc Astana game yesterday, and he was a bit below par, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, so Solskjaer, did make alterations in the squad, as he did confirm, that he would have done. But yeah, that midfield, really, really does concern me a lot. It really, really does. But I'm glad, we got that experienced centre half in throughout the course of the summer. I'm glad that we got that right back in. But I'm infuriated, that we didn't get a midfielder in and that. Solskjaer did say at the start of the summer, he did want to recommend at least 5 new additions to the squad. I'm very, very happy, that we did get that summer clear out, that we was demanding throughout the course of summer. So obviously we do know that a lot of players have left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously Italy has been a popular destination, obviously, for quite a lot of Man United players. Because obviously, we saw Chris Smalling go to Italy on loan to Roma. We saw Darmian go to Italy, to Parma. Obviously, we saw Romelu Lukaku, go to Inter Milan. We saw Sanchez go to Inter Milan. So in that aspect, they have reunited together. Obviously, other players that have left that didn't go to it, Ander Herrera left it. He went to PSG. With that, Ander Herrera got on a free transfer earlier on in the summer. Herrera, had 5 successful years at Manchester United. Well, he had some rough patches, but majority of his Man United career was mainly consistent. You could arguably say he was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Marian Fellaini, he served 6 years at the football club. He left for China back in January. Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years at the football club, and a couple of goalkeepers in that have been loaned out. So quite a lot of players now have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrived, but despite the fact a lot have left, I still think now as we speak, these problematic players at the football club, and I think Man United do need to consider getting rid of a couple more players in January or next summer. But I did say to you on my video yesterday, I think Man United, do need at least 3 more signings in that. That's my opinion. Maybe we need even more than that. But yeah, so these for me, still problematic players at the football club, that do need to be moved on. Don't forget, there is a lot of experience in the team, because obviously, I've got quite a lot of aging up players in the squad. But I think one of the players that does need to go in January or next summer is Phil Jones. He's one of the players that does need to, go. Obviously, like I said, he made his first appearance yesterday. Obviously, Phil Jones is a liability in my opinion. Obviously, Jones is now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, he has been at Man United now 8 years as Phil Jones. He's been here 8 years, but he's into his 9th season now. And we have seen glimpses of over the years, of how good he can be. He can be really, really good. But obviously, following the arrival of Harry Maguire, obviously he's going to find game time difficult. In the cup games and the Europa League games, he'll may get the opportunities in that Phil Jones. But apart from that, he won't really get the chance. Don't forget, we give Phil Jones a new long-term contract last season, which was bad business for Man United. So we need to consider, moving in on. Marcus Rojo now, obviously, like I said yesterday, he made his first appearance for the football club. Marcus Rojo, obviously, isn't first choice. Like I did say, he can play as a centre-back, a left-back, he can play as a wing-back. So his versatility is good in that back line. He does primarily play as a centre-back and that. But I think, Man United needs to consider moving Rojo on, to be quite honest with either in January or next summer. Either in January or next summer. Don't forget, Rojo was subjected to transfer speculation throughout the course of the summer. Don't forget, Everton have inquired about getting him on deadline day. Obviously, Marcel and Monaco and AC Milan also inquired about getting him. Rojo's just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United. And I think he's injury prone. Obviously, we know he's not injured now, but obviously, he's sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. So I think, he does need to be moved on. Ashley Young, obviously, like I said, he came on in the game yesterday. Young has obviously, he's been another long-serving player at the football club. Young has been at Manchester United 8 years. He's now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. Is Ashley Young. I said over the years, he has, delivered the goods and that. This is obviously when he was younger. This is probably when he was in his prime. Young, but obviously now he's past his sell-by date, and that's obviously reflecting on his age, because he's 34 years of age. I think he's 35 next year. Don't forget, Man United give him a new 1-year extension last season. But he actually was primarily a right winger when he was young. Was Ashley Young. But as he was developing, he got rotated as a right back. So in that aspect, he is compatible, to Wan-Bissaka, because Wan-Bissaka was primarily a right winger when he was younger. Then as he was developing, he got rotated as a full back. So maybe Young, could leave Man United at the end of this season. I think the Nemanja Matic is a problematic player. The football club, Nemanja Matic has started the last 2 games now on the trot. Probably, it's obviously not due to Paul Pogba's absentee. Like I did say, I think Man United needs to consider moving Matic on in January or next summer. Obviously, he is no longer first choice is Matic, even though he has started the last 2 games. He was first choice last season, was the Nemanja Matic. Obviously, our first choice midfield trio last season was Matic, Herrera and Paul Pogba. And Matic now is into his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. To be fair, we have seen glimpses of how good he can be in that. He can pass the ball, he can hold his line well. But we've got a lot of element of concerns about him. obviously he isn't getting any younger, you know, he is aging up, you know, he's 31 years of age, you know, he's too slow, you know, he makes that midfield look totally imbalanced. So I think we need to consider, you know, getting rid of him. And I think anyway, Nemanja Matic has become infuriated, you know, with the lack of playing time this season at Manchester United, because he has initially, you know, lost his place in the team, you know, to Scott McTominay. But I think he's infuriated about this. His Matic. Obviously, this is now he's into his third season now as a Manchester United player. He has made around 90 appearances in all competitions for the football club, so he's not far from making a century of appearances. Obviously, I think 66 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. You know, don't forget, you know, we paid around £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. Obviously, we did get him back under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, at the time we got him, you know, he wasn't our first choice sign. He was like our third, you know, our third choice sign at the time. So obviously, he wasn't one of them. He wasn't our number one priority target at the time. You know, we did recommend him in. But yeah, you know, he's attracting interest, you know, from quite a host of clubs, you know, he's Nemanja Matic, because I was reading recent reports like Updated John, it did say, you know, 4 clubs are interested in signing Nemanja Matic on a free transfer at the end of the season. We do know that Nemanja Matic's current contract expires at the end of the season, but don't forget, you know, we do have the option, you know, to extend it by a further year. So the 4 clubs that are reportedly interested in is Juventus, they're interested in him. Juventus, they're interested in him, you know, AC Milan, Inter Milan and Borussia Dortmund. So in that aspect, there's a host of Italian clubs interested in him, and there's also, you know, a German club, obviously, who are Borussia Dortmund, you know, that are interested in his services. You know, don't forget, you know, Juventus are known for getting players on free transfers in recent years. You know, they did it with Emre Can earlier on in the summer. Oh, no, Emre Can, I think, was before this summer, but they still did it with Can. It was Adrian Mabet and Ramsey, you know, who Juventus, you know, got on a free transfer and that. But like I did say, you know, I think we could try and cash in, you know, for Matic in January, you know, rather than letting go on a free transfer at the end of the season. But like I did say, in that midfield, you know, I said the likes of Fred, you know, Pereira, McTominay, Gomez, all of them, I think, you know, are much better solutions than the Nemanja Matic. I think definitely Fred's a better solution than Matic, you know, because I think Fred's more mobile and better on the ball than Matic. Like I said, I'll credit Fred. I thought he did well in the game when he came on against Leicester. I thought he did well yesterday, you know, in the 1-0 victory over FC Astana and that. So I think Fred, you know, the more game time he gets, I think he'll settle in more, you know, to be quite fair. So Fred definitely, you know, needs more game time. We know he hasn't performed to the same sort of level, you know, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, you know, Fred. But, you know, I think, you know, we have seen glimpses of how good he can be, you know, as a Man United player. You know, he did well towards the back end of last season. But any of them are much better solutions than Matic. So for me, Matic is a problematic player. I want to give you a bit of additional information in regards to Paul Pogba. Now, obviously, we do know that, you know, Paul Pogba has missed the last 2 games, obviously. We do know that we managed to convince him, you know, to stay at the football club at least for this summer, you know, which is very, very good news. We've kept him at the football club at least for this summer. I still believe Paul Pogba's plans for the future, you know, is to definitely, you know, make a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, I think he could end up making his move to Madrid in January, or if he doesn't move in January, I think, you know, he will move next summer. So recently, you know, Paul Scholes has come out, you know, he's given his overarching view, you know, the situation regarding Paul Pogba and that, and he believes that, you know, Manchester United, you know, losing Paul Pogba, you know, would be a loss to the football club, because he believes there's actually other players, there's other players, you know, that can perform to his standards. So Scholes is basically saying that Paul Pogba, you know, is a disposal. I think, you know, Paul Pogba is a very, very imperative player, and I'm glad we convinced him to remain at the football club, you know, especially, you know, with our failure, you know, to get a midfielder in, you know, throughout the course of the summer. But I think, you know, we are sticking to our valuation in January if we had to, you know, soften our stance regarding Paul Pogba. I think we do want somewhere in the region of around £179 million for him in January, you know, if we had to let him go. But obviously we was demanding somewhere in the region of around £179 million earlier on in the summer, don't forget. That's what we wanted, and that, obviously, you know, Real Madrid were not willing to pay it. And I did say, you know, reflecting on the evaluation, you know, we put on Paul Pogba early on this summer, that was a stumbling block of him, of course, making his move to Real Madrid. Now, there is still a possibility chance, you know, that Manchester United, could renew Paul Pogba's contract, because I was reading a bit of news, about Paul Pogba yesterday, and it actually, did say, that we're trying to convince him to sign a new contract with the football club. But reports were stemming out quite a few weeks ago, saying that that Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola had negotiations with the football club, regarding Paul Pogba's future, and obviously, over the possibility of renewing his contract, because obviously Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option, to extend it by a further year, and of course he's on 290 grand a week. So in that aspect, he's still one of the highest paid players at the football club. So if Paul Pogba, wants to commit his long-term future at Manchester United, if he wants to commit his long-term future at the football club, if he was to commit his long-term future at the football club, obviously he would demand to be the highest paid player, and he would demand a massive increase in his wages. He'd probably demand somewhere in the region, at an estimated guess, around 400, maybe even £500,000 a week. But throughout the course of summer, Paul Pogba's first choice preference was Real Madrid. Don't forget, throughout the course of summer, Real Madrid spent a substantial amount. They spent around £300 million on players. Did Real Madrid 5 players? They did manage to sell some players, so they did generate some the money back in that. But it was Real Madrid that were relentlessly in for him throughout the course of summer, because Zinedine Zidane identified him as his #1 priority target. So he will be infuriated that he didn't get Paul Pogba, and that obviously don't forget Christian Eriksen was on Real Madrid's agenda. Christian Eriksen probably would have been a cheaper solution for Real Madrid, but obviously Paul Pogba was their preference over Christian Eriksen. And if Paul Pogba is to renew his contract at Man United, then maybe Real Madrid then may go in for Christian Eriksen at the end of this season, when his current contract does expire with Tottenham. Don't forget, it wasn't only Real Madrid in for him throughout the course of summer. Don't forget, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba, did have 4 good years in Turin, and that, with Juventus, hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United, let's be honest. Obviously, I think Barcelona were also in for him, because don't forget, Paul Pogba's brother fueled quite a bit of speculation this summer, towards the back end of the window. He fueled quite a lot of speculation, but he said he actually spoken to Lionel Messi the other week, did Paul Pogba. This is what Mayfield, his brother, had said. And don't forget, he allegedly said that Paul Pogba had agreed to join PSG, just before deadline day, or was it on deadline day, allegedly, because reportedly it said Pogba had agreed around £429,000 a week deal with PSG, but his move never materialised because of the Neymar saga, because there was, narratives going on early on in the summer about Neymar, possibly, making a return back to Barcelona. So this is what, it actually said. But yeah, there was quite a lot of teams in, but it was mainly, Real Madrid that were in for him, and that. Obviously, it hasn't only been this summer that Paul Pogba has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, there was a lot of talks about him leaving the football club, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But Paul Pogba did say early on in the summer, I think it was reflecting back in June, he did say he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly, admitted, that he did want to leave the football club. And he still wants to leave now, and I think the couple of main factor reasons why he does want to leave the football club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he just he's frustrated with lack of competitiveness and that. So I still believe Pogba definitely wants him out of the football club. But Pogba now is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And analysing this 4-year period, I think Pogba has been mainly inconsistent. I'm going to be honest. I think he's had a pretty decent start to this season. He hasn't been fantastic, but he's done well here and there. I did say, obviously he's missed the last 2 games, because don't forget, a couple of weeks ago, Paul Pogba had to withdraw from the France squad with an ankle injury. He actually sustained in the 1-1 draw with Southampton, but I think it's confirmed he should be fit for the game against Sunday. He should regain full fitness. But Pogba's 26. He has still got a hell of a lot of development minimum in that. And when he's at his best, he's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world, and you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, when he is freed up and that. But the good news is now he's staying at Manchester United for now, which I am, very, very happy about. Maybe some people believe, we wouldn't lose out on Luke. It wouldn't be a loss. It wouldn't be a loss for us, losing out on Paul Pogba. This is what Paul Scholes thinks. But obviously, certain individuals, will have different opinions on it. For me, maybe we would. if we lost Paul Pogba, then I think we would be very, very short in that midfield. If we got a good adequate replacement for him, then I wouldn't be as concerned as losing Paul Pogba, you know, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, that was Paul Scholes' overarching view on that. But like I did say, you know, there has been players, you know, that I've been really, really impressed with, you know, so far this season, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think, you know, Daniel James, he's done really, really well. He's had a fantastic start, like I said, you know, to his Manchester United career. We know he didn't play yesterday, but obviously, you know, in the other games he's played in this season, he's done really, really well. Obviously, he scored 3 goals for the football club this season as Daniel James. And like I said, he's still a prospect and needs time to develop and that, because, you know, there's still improvements needed in this game. But, you know, I think he's doing really, really well. You know, he's only 21 years of age is Daniel James. He only got into the senior squad, you know, with Swansea back in February of last year and that, and I think so far this season he's replicating what he did with Swansea last season. And, you know, we paid, was it around £15 million for him with add-ons included, which did potentially, you know, rise up to around £18 million. But yeah, he's been fantastic. And Wan-Bissaka now, he's been really, really good for the football club. It was good that we rested him yesterday, basically, you know, to obviously so he can be fresh for Sunday. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. Quite a lot of people believe, you know, he's been one of our most consistent signings so far as Wan-Bissaka, and I think if he does continue with the consistency up, I think, you know, his valuation, you know, will persistently grow. Don't forget, you know, I think we paid around, was it £50 million for Wan-Bissaka, but he has done, you know, really, really well, and I think he can be our fullback, you know, for the next decade, and I think he can emulate into like Gary Neville. Don't forget, Bissaka, you know, only made his senior debut back in February 2018 for Palace, and he did well with Palace last season. I think so far this season he's replicating this with Manchester United. He had to withdraw from the England squad, don't forget, the other week, but obviously, you know, don't forget he did play in the game against Leicester, did down Wan-Bissaka, so obviously he's no longer injured. He did sustain a back injury, obviously that prevented him, you know, from making his England senior debut, so in that aspect, you know, that would have infuriated him. And Harry Maguire, you know, I think he settled in very, very well as a Manchester United player. Like I said, he was also, you know, rested yesterday, you know, which is obvious as well. Harry Maguire, you know, has done fantastically well, you know, for the football club. Obviously, you know, don't forget, you know, we paid £80 million for him. Obviously, you know, he's the second most expensive sign at the club, you know, just behind Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. Obviously, you know, Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in the world. You know, maybe we did overpay for him. I agree, we overpaid for him, but, you know, we're well known, you know, for spending big on players. You know, we're obviously, you know, we're known for overpaying for our players, and then when it comes to letting them go, you know, we'll let them go for next to nothing. And in that aspect, that's bad business from the football club, you know, because, you know, there has been prime examples of that this summer. You know, don't forget we did it with Darmian. You know, we paid £12.7 million for him from Torino back in 2015, and, you know, he served 4 years at the football club. You know, we got him under the Louis van Gaal era, and then, you know, we let him go for just over £3 million, so we've lost out on around £9.1 million there. And the Herrera, you know, we paid £29 million for him from Atletico Bilbao back in 2014. You know, this is what we paid, and obviously, you know, let his contract run down early on in the summer. Then we did let him go on a free transfer. I also believe the club overpaid for Fred. We definitely overpaid for Fred. We paid just under £50 million for him. You know, with Lukaku, it was good that we generated the money back, you know, that we did initially pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, and that, and it was good that we got a substantial amount for him. But again, at the time we did get Lukaku, we overpaid for him. So we are known for doing it. So they are prime examples there. But I think, you know, Aaron Maguire, if he does continue this consistency again with him, you know, he's you know, valuation, you know, will persistently, you know, grow. But I think his distribution's good. He shows that ability to play out from the back, and I think Harry Maguire has been absolutely fantastic. So they are 3 plays, you know, that are good, you know, which I'm very, very happy about. But for me, it's still not enough. Victor Lindelof, obviously we do know that, you know, he didn't play yesterday, and I think Lindelof, you know, so far this season has blended in very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Obviously, you know, we got some good news earlier on this week in regards to Victor Lindelof, you know, like I did give you an update on. We do know that Victor Lindelof has signed a new long-term contract with Manchester United. He has signed, I think, a 5-year deal, I think it is, with an option of a further year. So he's under contract now with the football club until 2024. You know, very, very ecstatic about that news, because Lindelof, you know, is flourishing as a Manchester United player. You know, I think, you know, his performances were a bit below par. You know, in the Southampton game. were a bit below par, in the Southampton game. It was the 2 games prior, to the Leicester game where I thought, Lindelof, was a bit below par. But I think prior to that, overall this season mainly, he has done quite well. But, he's replicating what he did in his second season, because Lindelof, he was really, really good in his second season. There were vast improvements in his game. In his first season, didn't really settle in, that's that consistency in that, because for certain players in that, sometimes it can take them time, to settle in. Obviously, that hasn't been proven for Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire seemed to have settled in quite quick. Daniel James so far seemed to have settled in quite quick, and so to Zan Wan-Bissaka, which is very, very good news. But Lindelof is 25 years of age, so he's, basically now nearly in his mid-20s. Obviously, he's into his 3rd season at the football club. Don't forget, we paid just over £30 million for him from Benfica back in 2017, back under the Jose Mourinho Moreira. So he has been a consistent signing as Lindelof and that. And obviously, Lindelof and Harry Maguire are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, first choice centre-backs. As we all know, and that, but it's good that he's signed a new long-term contract. And don't forget, he's the second player this week, to commit his future with Manchester United. Because don't forget, back it was on Monday that David De Gea signed a new long-term contract with the football club. Obviously, David De Gea signed a 4-year contract with an option of a 3rd year. Obviously, now he's the highest-paid goalkeeper in the world and the highest-paid at the club, because obviously he's obviously earning now from between 350 to 375 grand a week. So he signed a new contract. But I did say, we give quite a few players, new contracts that were in there last year of their current deals. Obviously, we did it with David De Gea back on Monday. Obviously, we did it with Anthony Martial. He signed a 5-year deal back in January. Obviously, we did it with Marcus Rashford, even though there was an option to extend his contract by a 3rd year. So Rashford, before he signed his new deal, was in the final year of his contract, but there was an option to extend it by a 3rd year. But it was good that we got Rashford that new deal. We did it with Juan Mata. Don't forget, he was coming to an end of his contract. He had under a year left in his contract, and early on in the summer, don't forget, he signed a 2-year contract, with an option of a 3rd year. Like I said, Ashley Young, he signed a new 1-year extension last season. Phil Jones signed a new long-term contract last season. I think McTominay, got a new long-term contract last season. So it's good that we have, sorted the contract renewals out. Like I said, Martial, it was good that he got the contract. Good that Rashford got the contract. Good that De Gea got the contract. I'm happy that Mata got the contract. I was disappointed in Jones getting a new long-term contract. I was also disappointed in Young getting a 1-year extension. Don't forget, Chris Smalling had actually signed a new long-term contract last season. Obviously, before went to join Rome on loan, quite a few weeks ago now. Despite the fact that Chris Smalling's gone out on loan now, we have still got 6 centre-backs in the team, believe it or not. But like I said, for the game against West Ham on Sunday, some more players, should have regained their full fitness. So we expect, Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial and that, to be back for the game on Sunday. Pogba's out with an ankle injury. Martial has been out with a thigh injury, so it has confirmed now that Martial has missed the last 3 games in all competitions. Martial, like I said, before he sustained his injury, I think, he's been really, really good this season. I did say, if Martial can keep this consistency up and he can try and avoid, sustaining any more injuries, I think he can score from at least between 15 to 20 goals this season. Don't forget, we know that Mason Greenwood played in that number 9 yesterday, but I think, Martial will playing that central area on a regular basis this season, because obviously it confirmed that he'd been given that number 9 shirt at the start of the season, because he does seem to be, more effective in that central position. Does Martial? He's developing well. He is only 23 years of age. Is Martial, and I've been really, really impressed with him. He has scored 50 goals for the football club in all competitions. He's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player, is Anthony Martial. But they are compatible in that aspect, Martial and Rashford, if in regards to the positions they can play in, because they can both play in the same positions, basically. Martial can play centrally, can play out wide, and Rashford can play centrally, can play out wide. Martial's actually primarily a left winger in that, but he just seems to be more of a standout player in that central position. With Rashford, he was obviously playing on the left-hand side yesterday, because Mason Greenwood obviously, was playing central. I don't think Rashford, was too bad yesterday, to be quite honest with you. Rashford, hasn't performed to the same sort of extent as how Martial and, Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire's performed in that. But I still think in parts this season, he has done okay. But I'd still say it's a long-term solution for Man United, is Marcus Rashford. But yeah, Martial should be back for Sunday. In regards to Luke Shaw, now we do know he's missed the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. Now, obviously, I don't think he's going to be fully fit, to play on Sunday against West Ham. Is Luke Shaw. I think he's expected, to be available for the game against Arsenal at the end of this month. And I think before Luke Shaw sustained his injury, he's had a pretty average start to this season. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, Luke Shaw, analysing the majority of his Man United career, I think he has been mainly consistent as Luke Shaw. Obviously he's our first choice left back, and we do know when he's on form, the difference he does make on that left hand side. But still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Don't forget Luke Shaw won the double player this season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances and that. So hopefully he can be back for the game against Arsenal. We do know Eric Bailly and Fosu Mensah are also long-term absences as well. So Bay's out to the new year. I'm not sure how long Fosu Mensah was out for, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it was good to see Diego Dalot back in action. Obviously he'd recently been out with a groin problem and that, but it was good to see him involved in the game. But all that matters is it wasn't a convincing performance and that. But all that matters is where we did get the win. That's all that matters. And FC Astana, I don't think that they're too good to be quite honest. Like I did say, that the Kazakhstan champions, they're halfway through their season. I think they're sitting third in their current season. I think the third so far, but they're halfway through the season. And that was actually the first ever competitive meeting. It said, between an English side and a Kazakhstan side, and that's what it basically had said. Now we're unbeaten in our last 12 Europa League games, so our record in Europa League seems to be pretty good quite recently. Don't forget we won it back in 2017. Back under the Jose Mourinho. Moreira, we did win the Europa League, and I think Man United are good enough, to do it, to be quite honest with you. But like I did say, Solskjaer, wants to get Manchester United back to being a competitive elite level football club, and we have got big ambitions for the future. And obviously, he wants to bring, he wants us to win silverware, and this is something, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does want to bring back to the football club, as we are all aware of. This is something, he does want to bring back to the football club. I have got element of concerns about him, some of his tactics are questionable, he hasn't really got the experience of manager, not really to the highest level and that, so I'm also got concerns about that. But for me, Solskjaer, does need to be given time. And I did say, regardless of our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy, we're never going to replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson, because we did have 20 odd years of success under Alex Ferguson. And don't forget the time we appointed Alex Ferguson, don't forget, he didn't win out in his first 4 years with the football club. Obviously, when we appointed him from Aberdeen back in 1985, or was it 1996, he didn't win out in his first 4 years with the football club. But then look what he produced and delivered. He was actually on the verge in that 4-year period of getting the sack, but he didn't. So I think, we can take that into account now with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he needs at least a year or two, to see what he can do with see if he can, transform Manchester United forward and get us back to, where we should be in that. But he needs more time, to definitely make a further more investment. But like I did, update you on my update you on video that I did yesterday. I've already said, the two players that are our number one priority targets, for next summer, and that's obviously Jadon Sancho and James Maddison. And I think there would be the right. There would be the right calibre players for Manchester United. James Maddison and Jadon Sancho. We are aware that they would cost the club a substantial amount of money. Probably Jadon Sancho, would cost us in the excess of around £100 million. James Maddison would probably cost us in the region of around 70 or 80 million pounds in that. So obviously they're going to cost us a substantial amount. But don't forget, we have got the financial power, to meet that valuation. We have got the financial power, to meet that valuation. Don't forget. But yeah, like I did say, James Maddison, he's a really, really good player. Obviously, we do know he's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but he can actually play as a left winger. Well, he's played on left hand side quite a few times under Brendan Rodgers, and he seems to be, flourishing under Brendan Rodgers' guidance. But if we are to get James Maddison in January or next summer, obviously, Leicester are obviously going to demand a similar fee, to what they did do for Harry Maguire. James Maddison is only 22 years of age, and we're probably seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba and that. I think James Maddison would blend in our midfield really, really well. Don't forget, can create chances. He did prove last season. You know, he created 100 chances last season for Leicester. That was more chances than any other player in the Premier League. You know, he was involved in 14 goals last season. He's enjoyed a pretty decent start this season with Leicester. I think he's provided them a couple of assists, you know, so far this season. But this is James Maddison's second season now in the Premier League. Obviously, last season was his debut season in the Premier League, but was really, really good, to be quite honest with you. And like I did say, you know, we was only tentatively linked to him throughout the course of the summer. You know, he wasn't one of our main priority targets. You know, was James Maddison. You know, I think reportedly we've been interested in him since June. I think quite a few other teams have been tracking the player, but Leicester did pay around £20 million for him from Norwich last summer, because he did serve a good couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. He did serve a good couple of years in the Championship, you know, with Norwich and that. And like I did say, he's still got 4 years left on his current contract with Leicester. But I would be excited about the prospects of, you know, James Maddison, you know, coming in to the football club and that. Like I did say, in regards to Jadon Sancho, obviously, you know, I was reading reports about him yesterday, like I updated you on. It did say, you know, he's got his ambitions for the future with Borussia Dortmund. He wants to win trophies with them, and that's obviously, you know, his ambitions and that. But I think this could be his last season as a Borussia Dortmund player. He's actually given us an update regarding his future, and he doesn't know, you know, what his future holds. You know, does Jadon Sancho? Don't forget, we was in for him early on in the summer. Don't forget, we identified him as our #1 priority target. You know, back in January, he was our #1 priority target. But obviously, we've got screwed for Jadon Sancho. You know, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League and that. He is only 19 years of age, as we all know. He is primarily a right winger. He's Jadon Sancho, and I would be excited about the prospect of him, you know, playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Martial, Daniel James in our attacking line, because I think, you know, they're all blending, you know, really well together, you know, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And Jadon Sancho is good on and off the ball. He's good at making runs. He can, you know, create chances and that. And he's had two good seasons in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. He has been a fruition for them. He's now into his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player. I think he's made about 63 first team appearances. You know, I think he scored about 17 goals and that. This is obviously, you know, for the first team and that. And he's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. And he's had experience of playing in the Premier League, you know, as Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, had a couple of years with Man City. Never really got a short first team opportunities at City though. And this is the main factor reason why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund. You know, Borussia Dortmund got him for next to nought basically. You know, they only paid around £7 or £8 million for him. But obviously, reflect on his impressive performances for Dortmund in the last couple of years. His valuation has persistently grown and that. So now probably he's going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million and that. But I'd love him, you know, to come to the football club, because he would dramatically improve as and I think James Maddison, you know, would add more of a depth in that in our midfield, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like he'd said, there's still problems in the squad, you know, that do need to be addressed. You know, we're creating chances, but we're still, you know, not scoring enough goals, and that's something obviously, you know, Manchester United do need to justify, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Something definitely, you know, Manchester United do need to justify. So the main part of this video, you know, was to, you know, give you the news about, you know, Man United beating, you know, Fc Astana by 1-0 yesterday at Old Trafford and that. I think our next game is actually, well, in the Europa League, I think is AZ Alkmaar. That's obviously going to be more of a tougher test. And so to his Partizan Belgrade, you know, that's also going to be a tougher test. But I think we can, you know, get through to the knockouts, you know, quite easily in that. Yeah, and you know, yeah, so that's mainly everything to update. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel, if you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.